Right, we are going to start now. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to those who managed to join us this evening. We are going to start this session about how to set up a food safety culture in your organization. My name is Vera Iyambo, and I am the COO at Yalago Food Assurance Consultants. Okay, let's start with a simple background of my humble beginnings. Next slide. Okay, so as you can see, we all had to start somewhere. And this is a picture of me on board a fishing vessel, my first job ever after graduation. And the difference as we're growing before high school and after, and currently now at IFEC. My experience in the food industry, please move to the next slide. My experience in the food industry started in 2006 as a quality controller on board one of the fishing vessels. And this, let me tell you first a story about how I experienced food safety culture. I've worked in a couple of companies in the past, and my experience was quite different. Sorry, please give me a second. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to get some stuff in order. My experience in food safety culture, a lot of food businesses are now leaning towards food safety culture. However, in the past, from my experience, it was most businesses that I worked in, or food businesses, they were more focused on the bottom line, not so much about the people. However, I was lucky enough to experience a food safety culture at one of the jobs that I worked at as a quality coordinator. This company was focused on food safety as well as on its people. It was quite so interesting and so exciting to wake up every day to go to work. The projects that we did, the experience of teamwork, experience of support, as well as the reward for a job well done. I know it's simple things, but it does have a huge effect on motivating employees when they feel appreciated. And that means that they will perform better and they will be proud of the company they work for. As you can see on my history, I worked in different positions: quality controller, quality assurance administrator or system administrator, quality manager, coordinator, and now an entrepreneur and food safety a consultant. Right. So let's dig in. Why we're here, food safety culture. How can I help you to implement a food safety culture in your organization? So we're going to go over a couple of things on what food safety culture is, as well as how to effectively implement it in your organization. Next slide, please. First of all, please take this poll and then we can continue. It's a simple question. Ruth, please post the poll. Does your organization have a food safety culture implemented? So this is just for you to think about the circumstances at your company. Do you notice that there is a food safety culture that is evident and in the people, in the behavior, and your feeling towards your own organization? All right, we are ending the poll. Let's have a look at the results. Right, 100% of you said yes. This is a very good thing and it's quite encouraging. So you are on the right track. So if you already have a food safety culture in your organization, let's see how you can improve on that and be a contributing member in your organization. Okay. Stop. Okay. No, it's all good. Okay, so what is food safety culture? Food safety culture, by definition of the Global Food Safety Initiative, it is defined as values, beliefs, and norms that are shared and has a potential to affect the mindset and behavior towards food safety in and around or throughout the entire organization. What this means is that in one organization, you find people with different cultural backgrounds, with different values, norms, beliefs, as well as their mindset, depending on where they grew up, the environment they grew up, their nationality, and so forth. So now in one organization, you have to embrace these differences in each other's cultures, in each other's values, and in each other's beliefs in order to effectively implement the culture, which is towards food safety. Okay, you need to understand that implementing a food safety culture successfully and effectively is not an overnight process. The entire organization has to be part of the culture, has to be involved in the culture, and embrace the culture in order for it to be a success. And it's an ongoing process. You can't start today and tell people tomorrow, no, we have implemented the food safety culture and wow, it's great. No, it's ongoing. Okay, and you have to constantly keep reviving it, keep reintroducing it to the people, as well as to the new employees or whoever might join your organization. Right. Okay, so first up, we're going to look at the values. How are you going to embrace the values and beliefs or norms of your employees or the entire organization in order to make it beneficial to both the organization at large as well as its people? Well, as I mentioned before, we have different nationalities in one organization, different cultures, different upbringing or backgrounds. Then we have processes and proactivity. All these are things that the organization, when implementing a food safety culture, need to understand, recognize, and embrace, and use it to the advantage of the organization and its people. First up, we're going to look at nationality. Okay. Oh, just go back. Right. So when we talk about nationality, some companies or organizations are lucky enough to have people from different countries. So now imagine a culture clash that can possibly happen if a food safety culture is not embraced. So these differences are what would make a strong food safety culture if well understood and well implemented. So people have to accept each other. We're not saying that everybody have to be a best friend to the next person. However, understanding each other's culture is how you are going to be able to effectively and smoothly work together. Because in itself, understanding someone's nationality, it will be less likely that you're going to offend them. Okay, you're going to learn to respect each other's values and each other's beliefs. And the upbringing, on the other hand, sometimes not everybody Okay, we all have different upbringing. Welcome to Lucia. Thank you for joining us. Different backgrounds or upbringing does have an effect on a person's personality. You tend to view things differently from the next person. Now, understanding each other is one way of embracing each other's or working together. You need to understand each other's upbringings, okay? And it is quite important for effectiveness of your food safety culture, okay? Right, so then we come to processes. In any organization, in order for it to have a safe, to produce food safely, they need to have processes in place. When I say processes, I'm talking about work instruction. People have to do things in uniform, or uniformity need to be practiced. Not everyone can do however inspections on whatever manner or way that they would like to. It has to be in procedural according to the company's instruction, work instruction, or standard operating procedures. And these operating procedures need to be communicated to the relevant people. It does not help anyone to have SOPs defined, well-defined, and documented. However, they are not shared with the responsible people. Right, okay, let's move to the next slide. Did you move? Okay, just give it a moment. Right, the next slide, we are talking about the influence on the mindset and behavior. What influences us? In general, we all know that our surroundings are the main factor that influences our behavior as well as our mindset. Now, it doesn't matter if it's your professional environment or career environment or your social environment. They all have an impact on your behavior. The saying that it's good to associate yourself with strong-minded people with the hope that it will rub off on you, and hopefully you also become strong-minded and strong-willed and decisive. Same is true when you associate yourself with poor-minded people, if I may say that, or people who are not rule followers. And then of course you will also be, you start to follow exactly what they do. The purpose of us following or adapting to our environment is mainly for acceptability and the feeling of belonging. You don't want to always be the odd one out. However, sometimes that is not such a bad idea, all right, to have your own individuality. But in this instance, we want everybody to work together and to learn to work together and to learn to respect each other's values and to learn to positively influence others in order to perform well, in order to grow both professionally as well as personally. Okay, so our co-workers. We are highly influenced by our co-workers in their habits and behaviors, especially if it's something good that we aspire to, we tend to follow that. Be careful not to follow the bad behaviors just because you are trying to belong. Okay, our department where we work in, it depends on the leader. Who is the leader of the department? What attitude do they have towards their subordinates? How are they influencing them? How are they motivating them? How are they supporting them? So if you are not supported in your department, of course, you will be moving from department to department like most employees do in their company. It's not because sometimes it's not always that they are lazy, but sometimes is that they don't feel a sense of belonging. Okay, our position in the company also does matter, also has an influence on our behavior. If you are top management, I would assume Of course, you have the pressure from shareholders and so on. However, your attitude and behavior towards your subordinates, if it's not that of support and encouragement, then you cannot expect to have productive employees. But for the employee who is at the bottom in the company, they feel a different pressure, a different kind of pressure. And they will be only productive depending on who their management is, as well as their work ethics and their behavior, background behavior or background experiences also does play a role. Your job security. Some people are simply at work, not for the benefit of anyone else, but to collect their paycheck and go home. So which means they are not taking pride in their jobs, in their company, in their responsibilities, as well as what they bring to the company. Your own habits. We all have these bad habits here and there, and some are more difficult to kick than others. However, in a professional work environment, it is best to adapt the good habits that does not offend your colleagues or co-workers or make anyone uncomfortable. An organization is made up of people with different ethnicities, cultural background, like experiences and nationalities. So it's quite important that we learn to work together and we learn to put food safety first. Putting food safety first will ensure that our customers not only get the best quality product, but also a safe product that meets regulatory requirements as well as customer requirements. Right, let's take the next poll. And welcome, Julia. Thank you for joining us. Right, the next poll is asking who is responsible for food safety in your organization? Is it top management or the employees? Or is it supervisors? Or what do you think? Please cast your vote. Excuse me. Yeah, so far 100% thinks it's all of the above. And you are correct. Thank you for your vote. Food safety culture, excuse me. Sorry, I am a bit under the weather today. So my apologies, please bear with me. So sorry. Right, you are all correct. A food safety culture is everyone's responsibility within the organization. It does not only fall to top management, all the employees alone, but everyone, not only just supervisors. It's everyone's responsibility because everyone has a different role to play. Please. Sorry, I was on a roll, but now it seems like I'm running out of breath. So sorry about that. So we all have, in an organization, we all have our own role to play in the effectiveness of the food safety culture. Management, in the sense that they need to put structures in place to make food safety a reality or food safety culture a reality, or to make sure that the employees and everyone in the organization sees them as an example, as a leading example, since they are the process owner or the food safety culture process owners, and they should be the drivers. However, the employees should see this as an example and adhere to food safety policies and ensure that no product leaves the organization if it's not safe for the consumer. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Right, now we have broken down the components into simple ones so that we can just go through. Right, components of a food safety culture within your organization, the company's responsibilities, okay? It's to ensure that top management is the driver and aware of what is expected to drive a food safety culture to success. Additionally, they are responsible for managing the people, motivating the people towards the goals of the company and in line with the food safety culture. The processes and the purpose of the company must be clearly communicated to everyone in the organization in order to see how they can contribute to the culture. Proactivity should be encouraged by the company, which means that people should be free to give improvement advice or suggestions to the company. And wherever they can, they should always have a proactivity attitude in doing always what is best for the company, what is best for the product, and what is best for the consumer. After all, we are producing for our consumers. And management or the company should have measures in place or ways to combat resistance to change, because this is something you will experience when you're trying to implement a food safety culture. Okay, let's move on to the next. So the role of senior management is to ensure that the food safety culture is effectively implemented and endorsed from the top to the bottom, which means they are the owners and drivers of a food safety culture. They should lead by example. Employees are less likely to be resistant if they see the behavior of their senior management or top management, and that is in support of food safety culture. It is the management's responsibility to ensure that resources are made available in order to drive the food safety culture and to drive the employees to produce safe food products. Senior management further is accountable for ensuring that customers and consumers get a consistently safe product as well as a high quality product. And they are also then responsible for making sure that there are means for employees to feel appreciated. We will talk about these means a bit later. And they have to encourage and support team building activities in order for employees to feel a sense of belonging. As I said before, everyone does their own things, but in the end, we all want to feel a sense of belonging. And if you feel like you belong in an organization, then most likely you are going to be quite productive compared to the person who is constantly depressed whenever they wake up to go to work due to a harsh environment. So the environment must also at least be in support of the employees' mental health. Right. Okay, let's move on to the role of the employees. The employees have a responsibility, as we said, as well towards food safety culture. And their role is that they are responsible for food safety in the organization because they are the ones who are directly in contact with the products that is being produced. To achieve their productivity, employees' responsibility must be supported by the food safety policies and procedures set up by the company and management to ensure that all products are safe that are produced in the organization. With good training and a well-implemented food safety culture, employees can ensure that they produce safe products for their consumers. The food safety culture can also instill a sense of belonging, high productivity, increased teamwork, as well as feel that they are proud to work for the company. So they are accountable and responsible for what they are doing, as long as it's in line with the company's goals and objectives. They are also responsible to ensure that they do their work to the best of their ability and follow the food safety procedures. Right. So in order to motivate our employees, small things like teamwork, team building activities are quite important. Right? A lot of people don't get along, but the more activities they do together, the more or the less they are more likely to be hostile towards each other. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, the purpose of the organization, of course, must be then in line with what the company is trying to achieve. So this is demonstrated through the company or the organization's vision, the mission, and the goals. In order to embrace a good food safety culture, this mission, vision, and goals of the organization must be clearly communicated throughout the organization. The employees need to know where they stand with the company, where the company is going, and what are the hopes and dreams, and what the company is hoping to achieve today, tomorrow, as well as in the near future. Having this in mind, sometimes it is possible that knowing this, the employees are then motivated and driven to assist and help the company grow to its full potential and meet its goals and understood by everyone in the organization in order to know where and how they can contribute to its success. Right, let's move to the processes. As I mentioned before, the organization's responsibility is also to ensure that processes are well defined and well understood by everyone. This can be in the form of training, standard operating procedures, expertise where necessary, and effective supervision. Okay. Proactivity is another point. Excuse me. Okay. Proactivity, the organization has to make sure that the environment that the employees are working in is encouraging, is supportive in order to bring out their leadership skills, and communication need to be encouraged, free speech, as well as where employees are able to contribute in ways that the company can improve, or they themselves can improve themselves as well, or improve their workstations and everything within the organization. Well, people need, and this environment can only be made possible by the organization. The sense of free speech, the sense of contribution, the sense of appreciation when you do something good for the company. In this way, performance appraisals can be tied in or employee reward for good performance. Now, this reward, don't get it wrong, it's not always about money. It can be a reward in the form of having breakfast with your immediate manager, a 30-minute breakfast. Or it can be a team building exercise where you are given the responsibility to lead others into an exercise. All these brings feelings of trust, feelings of hope, and feelings of belonging. Teamwork should be highly encouraged by the organization. That way, employees are more free to participate in activities that improve or are beneficial to both themselves as well as the organization. In the end, we want everyone to feel that they are proud to be at the company they are proud to be in the moment that they are. And hopefully this will lead to high productivity. Okay, the last point. Move to the next slide, please. These are tips on how to handle resistance to change. Well, change in itself is inevitable in all our surroundings. However, when you are implementing anything new, you must be prepared for resistance. People don't always want to change because people want to be comfortable in whatever they are doing, whether it's good or it's getting them anyway. As long as they are doing something, some people are happy with that. So resistance to change in any new system should be expected. Okay, so how are you going to combat resistance to change to food safety culture ways? Okay, some people, if they come to you and say, okay, we can't do this because it's too hard, your responsibility is to show them the end game, to show them that if we do this, these are the benefits to the organization. These are the benefits to you as an employee of the company. And these are the benefits to the organization's brand, the organization's reputation. Okay, tip 2. People might say, we have always done things this way. Why change now? Well, just because something is not going forward or something is in place does not necessarily mean that it's going to improve. If no one is taking the opportunity to improve it, people are going to remain stagnant. And so is the culture in the organization. So how do you combat this? The new way, you have to encourage them and make them see that the new way benefits both the organization as well as the employee. All right. Another tip, people don't work together here. So I'm tired. I'm not going to do this. Introduce team building exercises. There is a numerous number of ways that you can combat resistance to change. It's all up to your own mindset and creativity. Okay, another resistance is no one will notice my effort in any case. So whether I do it or not, it doesn't really matter. Then this is your opportunity to set up a reward system for good performance or employee recognition. And this reward system can merely means a poster, putting that employee's poster on the notice board for some achievement or their contribution to the company's improvement or to the company's success. So this poster, I mean, a person seeing their poster on the notice board for something that they have done in recognition, it gives a sense of pride, a sense of good feelings, a sense of belonging, and also motivation to do even better or to bring more ideas to the table. And all the other employees, when they see this, they should, or they would most likely also be motivated to one day and aspire to be the ones that are on that notice board. And the last tip, we don't even know or understand our company's goals, mission, or vision. How do you combat this? Introduce information sessions at a departmental level where you go through the company's mission, the company's vision, as well as the goals with every department. When you take them into smaller groups, it's much more effective as people less inclined to not ask questions because they know the people who work with them in the same environment, in the same department. So it is possible that they are more likely to ask questions, open questions, and speak freely. Post all the company's mission, vision, and goals on all the notice boards or on the screens that are available at your organization. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Excuse me. All right, let's take it in part 3. How can you counter resistance to change within your organization? Is it by firing and replacing the resistant employees and getting new ones because you are tired of everybody's bad attitude? Or is it by sharing the organization's vision, mission, and goals? Or by allowing them to remain in the past as everyone else moves forward? Or by breaking down old systems and building new ones? You have 2 minutes. Excuse me. Right. It looks like everyone chose option 2 and option 4 by sharing the organization's mission, vision, and goals. Excuse me. And by breaking down old systems and building new ones. That is correct. If the old systems were not working, it is very important that you start to implement new ones that are more positive towards a food safety culture. Thank you, Ruth, for sharing the post. Okay, let's move on. Right, the following are the signs of a bad or poorly implemented food safety culture, and you will do well to avoid this. Okay, the lack of understanding of food safety processes and procedures within the organization. This lack is not only a bad thing for employees, but it's also poor judgment on management side, because all these things have to be put in place by top management in the company. Now, if people are constantly not sure of what to do, which procedures to follow, which procedures are not allowed, if they are not effectively communicated, then we cannot blame the employees. When the organization is barely passing food safety audits or HACCP audits or whatever system audits, you are just making it we passed. If the passing minimum score is 60%, no, this year we even got 62. That is very poor. If you're just making it just above the pass rate, somehow, somewhere, it means your system and your culture is stagnant. It's not growing, it's not improving, and you need to develop new measures on how to bring it back to life. And then you're always trying to avoid audits. No, there's an auditor coming. No, but that week I'm giving training. No, but that week we're having what? That week I'm going to be on sick leave. All these are merely excuses because you know that your system is not where it should be. Or objecting to unannounced audits. Some people even run from audits. They become sick as soon as they hear the auditor is on site. I'm quickly going to the hospital, and that's it for the rest of the day. And they are the ones who are supposed to accompany the auditor. This is a bad culture. If you have a good safety culture in place, a good food safety culture in place, you will not run away from audits, you will embrace it. Because a good food safety practitioner knows that all these audits are a way to improve your system. You are not able to self-judge yourself. So an outsider is more objective, and they help you to improve your system. They help you to improve your environment, as well as then the organization at large. Avoiding self-audits. Nope. Who wants to look for problems? We are not going there. Just leave things the way they are. If you don't see cracks, it means everything is still in place. However, if you do inspect and see cracks, at least you are able to call in the maintenance guy on time before the whole world collapses. Poor root cause investigations leading to failure to learn from your mistakes. If you don't do proper investigation, of course, those who ignore history are bound to repeat it, as they say. Okay, let's move on to the next. Right, we have come almost to the end of this session. A food safety culture is not an overnight success. It is something that you build continuously through your team, through your organization, your people, your efforts, and hard work. Okay, let's. Right, so continue building your food safety culture in your organization and improving it if it's already in existence. We've come to the end of the session. To summarize what we've discussed today, top management is the owner and driver of an organization's food safety culture. The employees and everyone else in the organization are responsible for ensuring food safety and that only safe and quality products leave the company and end up at the consumer. You should know and learn how to counter resistance to change. Food safety culture is not a one-size-fits-all, but it's an ongoing culture of behaviors and attitude change towards food safety. Right, we have almost come to the end, and you will soon get now a couple of, you are free to ask questions. Please move to the next slide. You are free to ask questions now. We have a few minutes to discuss your questions and provide you with answers to the best of our ability. Okay, for food safety culture to be successful, it should be aligned to your business goal, vision, and mission. Let's repeat that. For your food safety culture to be a success, it must be and it should be aligned to your company's goals and vision as well as the mission. Everything needs to go in line. Things need to flow together. You can't have people behaving in the opposite of what the company is trying to achieve. Now we have really come to the end of the session and we will have Q&A. Okay. Everyone, anyone, you are welcome to ask any questions, or are there questions in the chat? Well, we still have about 14 minutes.
Hi,
Hi, Julia. We can barely hear you though. The network.
Not really.
Hi, Julia. Perhaps you can, we can't really hear you. You're really breaking up. I think our network is a bit slow today, so it will be best maybe if you can type your question in the chat.
A question. Actually, don't have a question. I comment. Just
Okay.
for such an educative present those that we can read. You can. Okay. As I was
now
saying,
we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. I was saying I don't really have a question, just a comment to thank you for such an educative presentation. Most of the points that you have given or you've spoken about are those that we can relate to in our organization. Resistance to change, employees feeling unappreciated. Those are things that to look at as part of management, just to improve the food safety culture.
Thank you. I'm glad you took some pointers away. It was my pleasure.
I did. Thank you.
You are welcome. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Ruth say thank you for the clear explanation. You are welcome, Ruth. Right, we have come to the end. If there are no more questions or comments, I suppose we should call it a day. And I just want to say thank you so much for all those who made the time to join us this evening, and it's truly appreciated. The video will be available. All those who took part and registered, we will email you the recording of the video if you want to later have a listen to some pointers that you want to go back to or to go back on. Right, Lucia, thank you, ladies. Thoroughly enjoyed the session. You are most welcome, Miss Lucia. Right, thank you so much, everyone, and thank you to my team for your support and background support. And have a good evening. I wish you all the best, and I wish you success in implementing or improving the food safety culture in your organization. All right, have a good evening, everyone. Goodbye. Oh.